Hi, my name is Sarah Poche, and my presentation today is going to be on named and unnamed placeholders. So we learned last week about prepared statements in PHP. Placeholders are used within those prepared statements. These placeholders protect against SQL injection. Today I'm going to show you about the two different types of placeholders, named and unnamed. First off, I just wanted to show you a statement that was prepared that did not use placeholders. Notice that the variables are placed directly into the statement. This makes the database vulnerable to attackers. Okay, so on to named placeholders. First, I want you to notice the named placeholders in this query. This is shown on line 10. Named placeholders are denoted by the colon. So in this example, we have the placeholders of team and status. Then, three simple steps are performed. In this query, first, the SQL statement is prepared with your placeholders in them. This is shown on line 13. Next, the values are bound to the named placeholders, here using the bind param function. This can be seen on lines 16 and 17. Since these are named placeholders, they do not need to be in any order. So in this one, you could have the bind param status before the bind param team. But notice that the names do need to match in line 10 where you set out the named parameters, and on line 16 and 17 where you were binding those parameters to the variables. Lastly, on line 20, you are executing these statements. So to recap, named placeholders are denoted by the colon, as we see in this example. Named placeholders are easier to keep track of because the names have to be the same when you are naming the placeholder and when you are executing the statements. For these named placeholders to work, you can use the bind param or the bind value to bind the placeholders with the variable. Next, we'll move on to unnamed placeholders. First, I want you to notice the named placeholders of the unnamed placeholders in this query. This is again shown on line 10. Unnamed placeholders are denoted by the question mark. So in this example, we have placeholders of team is equal to question mark and status is equal to question mark. And just as a side note, this can actually be written a little bit differently, and I'll show you a different example on the next slide. Okay, so then, like with the name parameters, the name placeholders, then after we're done with that, the three steps are again performed. So on line 13 again, you will see that the statements are being prepared and then they are being executed, this time with the bind value function on line 16 and 17. And just as a side note, since these placeholders are not named, order is very important. If the variable order in the bind value does not match the column order in the statement, the query will fail. And again, lastly, on line 20, we execute these statements. So again, to recap, with the unnamed placeholders, they're denoted by a question mark. And here's the other way that you can write the statement for the unnamed placeholders. It's a little bit different. If you want to switch back and forth, you can look at it, but it kind of sets out the names first and then the values as question mark, question mark, question mark, where the other one did the names is equal to question mark. Both of them work, but just a little bit different. Okay, and then in these unnamed placeholder, just remember order is very important, because if it does not match, the variable order doesn't match the column order, the query will fail. And again, with unnamed placeholders, you can use the bind param, which binds the parameter to the variable, or bind value, and that binds a value to a parameter. So the references I used for this presentation can be seen here, and I will put these links on my website if you would like to check them out. Thanks for watching.